If you've been thinking about getting a second passport or residency, 2026 might just be your last best chance to do it easily. Governments around the world are tightening the screws on taxes, on immigration, and on your freedom to move both yourself and your money. In this video, we're going to cover 6 big reasons why 2026 is the perfect time to secure your passport and diversify your life internationally. Hi, I'm Justin Keltner, and on this channel, Entrepreneur Expat, we talk about everything to do with moving overseas, building a life, as well as business and investments abroad, and finding a better quality of life, better food, better health care, so many more things better than they are in the West. If that's something that you're interested in, then definitely give our channel a subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Click that notification bell as well so that you will be notified we're coming out with content every single week. So you don't want to miss any of our updates about this and other topics. Do us a favor and give this video a big thumbs up. It helps us a lot in reaching more people. And if you're a high net worth individual with $1 million or more in net assets, you definitely want to schedule a call below with our team so that we can actually take a look at creating a personalized plan for you, whether that's protecting your wealth in other countries, getting second passports or second residencies so that you can protect yours and your family's future, and much, much more. Just go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. So the first reason that 2026 is going to be the year that you want to get that second passport on lock is because they are making it harder and harder to leave Western nations. The US exit tax is already brutal. If your net worth hits around $2 million, which is not that difficult to do if you've got, say, one house in California, then the government can treat you as if you've sold everything and make you pay essentially capital gains tax on that and tax on the value of all of your properties, of all of your assets, the day that you renounce your citizenship. The UK is also now talking about implementing a similar exit tax for high net worth individuals that are leaving the country. And it's not just those two nations. Around the world, governments are tightening capital controls, and they're looking for ways to keep that wealth trapped at home. They do not want that wealth leaving. They know that they are mismanaging their countries in so many different ways. You've seen our videos about the US, you've seen our videos about the UK. We've been saying this for a while, like, hey guys, they're really starting to crack down here, but now it's all very much coming to fruition. They're mismanaging their countries, and then they expect everyone left, everyone who can't leave, or everyone that hasn't chosen to leave yet to basically be left holding those responsibilities and charging them more and more taxes, including that exit tax that is now coming soon to the United Kingdom. The message is very clear. If you wait too long, leaving could literally cost you millions of dollars. You do not want to wait on this. We keep saying it, and I'm going to say it again. Things are only getting worse in the West. Do I think they're going to get better eventually? Yes, honestly, I do. But that could be 5 years from now. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 20 years from now. We really don't know. We just know that things are not looking too good right now. There are a lot of fall of empire vibes that I'm getting from the US. And when I made the choice to move to Colombia almost 10 years ago, I already had that intuition. I knew that things were kind of going south. And I was very glad that I could secure my own residencies in other countries, including Mexico, where we're very close to getting our passport now. It's never been a better time, but more importantly, it's just going to become more and more difficult with those countries, making it harder for you to leave them. The number 2 reason is that investment opportunities abroad are exploding. Countries in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and the Balkans are opening up new investment migration programs, but it's not just that. The returns that they're giving you, because they're less mature markets than somewhere like the US or Canada, and also a little bit less regulated, but still in many cases very safe. Of course, consult your financial or your tax advisor. But there's so much more opportunities. Some of what we're doing personally in Mexico and our investments that are relatively secure investments, we're seeing between 10 and 18% per year on our capital. So there's a lot of investment opportunities abroad and a lot of investment related programs as well. And I'll just say philosophically, go where these people want your money. Countries like the UK have been closing down all of their citizenship or not even citizenship by investment programs. It's just residency by investment programs that could eventually lead to citizenship. They're just pushing all of that money away. And to me personally, it just does not make a lot of sense. If you're investing in real estate, hospitality, or agriculture sectors, you can often see returns of 2 to 3x what you would see in the US or the UK. And there's so many more opportunities to do that, whether you're buying a house and you're just going to wait for it to increase in value, buying multifamily, perhaps doing long-term or short-term rentals. There are very high yields, and it's also a very stable and growing economy in a lot of the countries outside of the US, versus when you do look at places like the US, markets are starting to fail. The real markets, right? You're talking about food, you're talking about companies that are providing financial services going bankrupt. The stock market just continues to go up and to the right, but the real indicators of economic prosperity are actually on the decline, versus in other countries like Mexico. Mexico has one of the strongest growing middle classes in the world. There are a lot of other countries as well. Albania is welcoming investment. They're starting to grow like crazy. They're modernizing all of their infrastructure, all of their real estate. So there's so many opportunities for investment. And by becoming a resident or citizen through investment, not only do you get those higher ROIs, but you also get greater global freedom. The number 3 reason is economic and political instability. We all see the news headlines about the protests, about the craziness going on in the US and the UK and the EU. They're also facing record levels of debt. They have volatile elections. There's a lot of corruption, but corruption at the highest levels, not like paying off a street cop somewhere in Mexico, but corruption in the highest levels of government, and of course, growing civil unrest. There's also so much inflation going on in the world, especially in the Western world, and worldwide de-dollarization. And those things are changing how global trade and wealth preservation work. Having a second passport is no longer a luxury. It's an insurance policy, and I would say a very cheap insurance policy against global uncertainty. Number 4, quality of life. And this is something that I really love, especially about places like Mexico, as well as countries in Europe that we're considering moving to at least part-time very, very soon. The quality of life is so much higher. People are friendlier. You actually know your neighbors. You get to greet people on the street. Not everything is super spread out, especially when you live in a larger town or city, so you can walk to the city center. You're seeing people hang out with their families there. There's kids just playing on the sidewalk, on the street, playing ball. You know, all of the other families are kind of watching after everybody else's kids too. People feel safe. There's liveliness. It's vibrant. And there's many expat-friendly communities in countries all over the world which offer lower cost of living, safer communities, and much stronger family values just like that. There's also access to nature. There's less stress. We live in the Chapala area right now of Mexico, where even just moving here from Guadalajara, which was already like a shift down in transmission, right? From living in big cities like LA in the US. We're out here in Chapala, there's nature all around us. We have trees all around us. We've got a panoramic view of the lake for 1/10 of what anything like that would cost in somewhere like the US, if you could even find it. So it's a slower pace of life overall, and those things contribute to better mental and better physical health. I would encourage you to think of it less even as just escaping and more like upgrading your life. There's kind of this myth that a lot of potential expats have, and they say, well, I don't want to escape the US. The US is great. It's the best country in the world. First of all, I might disagree on a couple points there because the US does not rank as the best in many things anymore at all. But it's not just about escaping. We feel like we have a better quality of life here with money and everything else aside. We're more at peace. We have stronger friendships. We don't spend all day commuting to work in a polluted city on a freeway, stuck in traffic. We can work from home. Things are very comfortable. It's less escaping and more really upgrading your life. That's really what it was for my wife and I when we moved down to Mexico a few short years ago, and for myself before that, as I've been traveling for the greater part of the last decade through Latin America and Europe. The next reason is food quality abroad. So in countries like Mexico, Portugal, and Italy, the food is a lot fresher, it's much less processed, and it's often locally sourced. The meat that we eat here in Chapala is literally from farms just a couple hours away. The berries are from right around the bend. It's about a 30-minute drive to all of the berry farms, including what Driscoll actually sources their berries from and things like that. So you can find so much great locally sourced produce. I don't understand when I go to Miami and I see an orange on the grocery store shelf, but that orange is from Peru or somewhere else in South America. Like it doesn't make any sense. The US imports so much of its food, and this is another thing that might even go in that economic scarcity category. They're so dependent on countries like China for food and medicine, South America, Mexico. They don't even have production capacity of their own food when it used to be that the US was making way more than enough food and even exporting. It just does not make a lot of sense. So, in addition to being a more secure type of economy for food itself, it's also much fresher and it's much higher quality, and you're not going to find all of the preservatives. Which brings me to another point here. You can actually taste the difference in the food here compared to other places. It was the same thing when I was in Europe. When you have bread somewhere like Europe, it doesn't make you fat instantly when you eat a loaf of bread. If you're in France or if you're in Austria, right? It's differently, it's made with completely different ingredients. Things are fresher, and you really do notice it in your health. For a lot of expats, food quality alone becomes a very big defining factor in their decision to stay abroad long term. Number 6, other countries are now starting to tighten those immigration rules. Mexico actually just earlier this year completely eliminated their regularization program. That was a program where if you had essentially an expired tourist visa and you were in Mexico also at any time before the pandemic, like pre-2021 era, then all you had to do was go to an immigration office, pay a couple $1,000s in fees and potentially attorneys costs as well. And you could get a 4-year temporary residence, which you could then turn into a permanent residence without any issue, without proving any income, without proving that you could work remotely, none of it. They would just give it to you. And a lot of people took advantage of that, or a lot of people were also just banking on the fact that something like that would always exist. And they eliminated it just like that. In addition, it used to be you could just fly down to Mexico, stay for 6 months, go back to the US or go to Colombia or go to another country for a day or for a week, come back to Mexico, and they would just rubber stamp your passport for another 6 months. It's actually not happening anymore. People are cracking down. They're asking you for return flights. They're asking you for hotel stays. You cannot just be a perpetual tourist anymore in Mexico. In addition to that, Portugal and Malta have ended their golden visa property programs. So now you have to actually invest in the economy, build a business there, hire people, and in most cases, even with Malta now, because of the EU regulations that the EU put on Malta, they can no longer just hand out Maltese passports unless you're actually going to live there and make significant investments, as well as other contributions to the economy. I did another video about this recently, which is that Germany also just rolled back its fast-track citizenship plan. It used to be that if you had really good German and if you were an outstanding member of society, you could have a fast-track plan to citizenship in just 3 years. Germany just revoked that, and all of Europe is cracking down. All of Latin America is cracking down. It used to be that so many of these countries, you could get a citizenship or at least residency very quickly, including Mexico. But now the window of opportunity is closing. So 2026 is the time to act before these doors slam shut. So if that's something that you want to do, if you're looking to pave a better future for yourself and for your family, all of these passports tend to also give rights to your children as well, where if you are to get a residency and then citizenship in a given country, your children will also get that same right so that they can live and work in any of these countries around the world that you're able to qualify for citizenship in as part of your citizenship application. So you're not just building a better future for yourself, you're building a better future for your children and for your entire family. I really encourage you to take advantage of what some of the opportunities are now. Book a call with our team and we can help you craft that personalized plan. That first consultation is absolutely free. You can get it below at entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. And if you're interested in free resources and other things like that, or if you don't have $1 million or more in liquid net worth, then just feel free to check out some of the free resources down below this video, as well as a few courses that we have on building remote income sources, as well as how to actually handle the process of relocating abroad to different countries. So if you've been waiting for the right time to get a second passport, this is absolutely it. It's only going to get harder. After 2026, there's going to be more taxes, stricter immigration laws, and fewer investment options globally. So don't forget to book that consult at entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. Get on our list, sign up for our stuff below. We've got a lot of cool guides as well. But if you're ready to make that move now, if you would like to figure out what possibilities you have based on your business, based on your income sources, and based on your assets, we can absolutely help do that. So go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult, book that call, and I look forward to working with you on that. Thanks again for being part of this community. Give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more, and we will see you again next time. Bye for now.